Okay, this is what life is like with our horses because Shelby now has helpers. Jeez Louise. Her assistants are kind of annoying though, like flippity flop. Like, why are they all so close? It's like you can't do. Who needs this many assistants is what I'm wondering. What is Pistachio? He's holding the rope.
I know.
He's very helpful. Oh my word. Good grief. This is the way you have to work, right? He's going to take Milo's lead again and help out. Oh God, and now Banksy too. What?
Touching me?
That's Banksy. What do, Banksy? What are you up to? Oh my word.
Ah!
What's he doing?
He's pulling on my hair.
Banksy. He has, just so you know, has your belt
Oh, I know.
in his mouth. Jeez.
Oh
my God. Your assistant is just a little too close.
Hey.
Poostache, would you like me to stop your assistant from assisting in a bad way?
This is like a drive-through window.
You know it to be true.
Here you go. Okay, bye. We're leaving, apparently. Milo. I was gonna give you your cookie. This Banksy won't. They walk over right when we get here now.
Girl, Lisa. Hi.
Okay, so now that it's been a full week since these girls arrived from Nevada to Canada here, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the process and what I'm happy about and kind of what the plan is and what we've been doing. So a huge change is how quickly they approach us, but also how close they let us get right away. Because when I first picked them up from the capture location, they were trotting and running away from the fence line when we were like way far away and they weren't even at the fence line anywhere near us. So that's pretty huge already, especially with the amount of change that has gone on in their lives in the last week. That's another thing to consider, like the distance they've traveled, the difference in climate, and what we're doing here. They are also both only 3 years old, so I'm not in any major rush to start riding them or anything. So my main thing is just building a trusting relationship so that I can get stuff done easier with them, which is why I'm doing this where I'm letting them approach willingly and then rewarding for it with the grass or the hay. They are still cautious about taking food out of our hands. They'll do it, but they don't love the smell of human hands yet, which makes sense. So I usually feed from the ground, or I'm going to start bringing dishes to try to feed them in. They don't really like grass, apples, or any other type of treat. They don't know that they're edible yet. So grass and hay is really the only reinforcer that we have at this stage because they're not willing to try the other stuff quite yet. But anyways, by giving them the control to be able to choose when to approach me, it makes it a lot less stressful for them because they have a 2-acre field that they can run away from me in. So the choice to approach and come say hi to my mom and I is a huge thing on their part because it kind of shows their level of willingness and curiosity and sheer desire to check us out. So I don't want to push things too quickly. Like, even though right here in these clips, I could reach out and touch them really easily, I don't want to take that step too soon and cause them to flee because that'll set me back. And my goal is to get that trust, and trust you can't force. So if I overstep and break that trust, then I'll be further behind because I've tried to force something before they're ready, which is why I'm doing it slow and letting them largely take control of what they want to do. She's very close to me.
Oh, did you see it? Did you see that?
No.
I basically kissed. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, God. Well, she didn't go flying away.
No, she didn't. And I just did it gently, but I kind of forgot, like, not to think, because her little snoot touched my lippy lips.
So anyways, I know that training like this to some can be like watching paint dry because we're not doing a lot of exciting things and progressing and doing amazing things within a matter of hours or days. But honestly, when you're training literal wild animals or animals that are new to something, you really shouldn't be taking those huge steps with most of them because oftentimes it's too much. And the fact that we've normalized that to such an extent in the horse world is actually quite concerning. Unlike the domesticated horses, I am stoic and I'm not ungrateful. That's for sure. Okay. So it's interesting because like literally just last week when I picked them up, if I walked like this towards them, even if they were further away. So the fact that I could push things harder if I had them more confined and trapped and restrained doesn't mean that they are ready to do it, because the fact that I would need to be reliant on restraints in order to make it happen is a clear sign that they're not ready for that type of thing. Plus, if I push things too hard and scare them, then I'm not gonna be able to catch them in the future. Like even if I confined them in a round pen and got them both haltered, after that, they're not gonna really want me nearby because they're gonna be like, she scared the crap out of us. We don't want her here. So all of that stuff, in my opinion, is just counterproductive for my end goal, which is having two easy to handle, easy to catch, happy horses who like people. A lot of these clips probably look like I just sit there and do nothing, but honestly, even the hay placement is very strategic because I make several hay piles so that they have the choice to eat away from me or come closer. And oftentimes they choose to come closer and eat out of the hay piles that are much closer to me than ones that I've fed further away. They also have a full-size round bale that they could be eating as well. The reason behind doing this is because if I just had the hay, the only hay that they could eat being the hay in front of me, it would be a lot more forceful and coercive. So I want to give them other options so that they actually get to choose to eat near me because they want to, not because it's the only option for food. She's like, guys, look at how flexible I am. For me, a huge part of wanting to do it like this with the Mustangs is because of the fact that a lot of what they have had with human interaction has been taken by force. They were taken from their home ranges by force. They were handled by force to get their tags on. They were loaded onto the trailer by force. So I want their interactions with me to not be like that because I'm trying to flip what they know of humans and make it a much more pleasant experience. So basically, once I get that trust, everything that I do with them is going to be so much easier because once I can start scratching them, they're going to warm up to me pretty quickly because they're quite itchy and humans can get those itchy spots better than they can themselves. So once I can start doing that, it's going to be a huge change as well.
Hello, you sniff me?
Honestly, with this type of training, I think that the initial contact in terms of like being able to touch them and get halters on them, that part might take longer, but everything after that is going to be less time because if they trust me and I didn't take that access to them by force, when I ask them to do other things, it's going to come a lot easier to them. And in times of high stress, they're more likely to defer to me. You could try lightly blowing in her nostril.
That is special, see?
Mm-hmm.
Look at my grip. See, that's special. I'm going to scream, but I'm not going to.
She's like, I'm so flexible and I hate these flies. So yeah, that's kind of some insight on why I'm doing stuff this way, because I have done things the more forceful way with other horses in the past and for much of my riding and training career before I started to make changes. And I've seen how much quicker I might be able to get like a halter on right away if I slam a horse against a wall or confine them in a round pen, but it's not as rewarding. I actually don't find it really saves me much in the way of time because then the horses become more nervous of me and less willing to work with me in the way that a trusting horse would, especially in high stress moments. So it really only strokes my ego to start doing that stuff with them right away, but it doesn't actually help put me ahead in the long run. Like the whole tortoise and the hare story and like slow and steady wins the race honestly does apply to horses quite well, because if you push them out of their comfort zone too far and really scare them, then this sets them back because it just teaches them to be more cautious next time. Whereas if you go slow and you consistently stay within that comfort zone and don't send them over threshold, then they continue expanding their comfort zone and it makes things way easier over time.